I will be going over some questions that you will have on your test, we could say, on your midterm. Also, maybe correct some things that you were doing incorrectly in your first test. So, one of the first questions is when they give you some data and you're having to find the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, the five number summary, and so on. So, first of all, let's make a table. The table is going to be the grams of sugar in some drinks. So we have Coke. So this is going to be the drink, and this is going to be the grams of sugar. So let's say Coke has 28 grams. Let's say we have Dr. Pepper, and Dr. Pepper has 32 grams of sugar. Then we have Sprite, and Sprite only has 17. We have water. Water has no sugar. We have orange soda, and the orange soda has 23. Let's say I had Pepsi, and Pepsi also has 28. And then we have pineapple soda, and that pineapple soda has 25. So the first thing that we're going to look for is we're going to try to find the mean. Well, for the mean, remember you have to add them all and then divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. By 7 because there's 7 numbers. Of course, that's not going to be big enough, but let's do this. 28 plus 32 plus 17 plus 0 plus 23 plus 28 plus 25 divided by 7. So let me open up Desmos and let's add the numbers. So I have 28 plus 32 plus 17 plus 0 plus 23 plus 28 plus 25, and I get 153. I'm going to do 153 divided by 7, which gives me 21.85, right? So it was 153 divided by 7, which approximately is 21.857. So we're going to round this into 21.1 just to make things easy. So that's my mean. For my median, please remember to put them in order from smallest to greatest. 0, 17, 23, 25, 28, 28, and 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just making sure. So if I look at this, I am looking for the middle number, which is 27. For the mode, it is the one that repeats the most, and the number that repeats the most is 28 because it happens twice. So the question like this on your midterm is going to be worth about 16 points. So make sure you do what you can. Then we go into standard deviation. And in standard deviation, they want us to find x, which is your data. Then we need to do x minus my mean. And then we're going to have to do x minus mean squared. And remember, this is your mean. This is that number. So my data is 0, 17, 23, 25, 28, 28, and 32. 0 minus 21.9. 0 minus 7. Oh, that's not 0. That's 17. 17 minus 21.9. 23 minus 21.9. 25 minus 21.9. 28 minus 21.9. 28 minus 21.9. 32 minus 21.9. So what we're looking for here, this is for your standard deviation. So this is your standard deviation. That's what we're doing. The data, which was the numbers, we're subtracting them. Then we need to, let me see if I could make this work. Okay, there it is. If I do 0 minus, clear, 0 minus 21.9, I get negative 21.9, but I need to square it. So when I square that, my answer squared, I get 479.61. 17, oops, that's it for that one. 17 minus 21.9, negative 4.9, and then I have to square it. So my answer squared is 24.01. 23 minus 21.9 is 1.1. We square it. The answer squared 121, 1.21. 25 minus 21.9, and once again, 25 minus 21.9, 3.1, and 3.1 squared is 9.61. And then we have 28 minus 21.9, and we get 6.1. And 6.1 squared is 37.21. And this one's going to be exactly the same answer. And then the last one is 32 minus 21.9, which is 10.1. We square it. The answer squared, and I get 102.01. So what I have to do next is add all these. We need to find the total. So I have 479.61 plus 24.01 plus 1.21. The one, there it is. 9.61. 37.21 plus 37.21 plus 102.01. So when I get that total, I get a total of 690.87. Now let's remember what the formula for standard deviation is, which is the standard deviation is the square root of the sum of these divided by n minus 6. So when I look at this, I get the standard deviation. The sum of that is this number, 690.87, minus numbers at 7. So that tells me that there is 6. And then we put this into the calculator to get the estimation of standard deviation. So I have the square root of a fraction of 690.87 divided by 6. So my standard deviation is 10.73. That would be your standard deviation. Look at this, and if something doesn't make sense, let me know, but it's the closest thing to your test. Now, after this, so let's say you found mean, median, mode, found the standard deviation. Now they want us to find that 5-number summary. 5-number summary. Now that 5-number summary, once again, it's off of numbers that were given to us, but I'm going to go ahead and rewrite them. Now, I need a minimum. I need Q1, Q2, Q3, and I need my max. Keep in mind your Q2 is the same thing as the median. So I already said my median is 25. That leaves us with 3 numbers here, 3 numbers here. This is your Q2. This is also your median. I need to find my Q1 here and my Q3 here. But keep this in mind. The number, if you have more than one number in the middle, you have to add them and divide by 2. But for this one, that's my Q1 and that's my 28. 28 will be my Q3 because we're looking for the middle number. My minimum number is 0. My max is 32. Then they're going to ask us to do a box and whisker. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So we're going to start off with the center, which is 25. This is the middle. Then we're going to go to 17, which is about here, to make this side of the box. And then I'm going to go to 28, which is about here, to make the other side. And then 17, 0, and 32. So this is your box and whisker for this problem. So this problem itself, once again, is worth a total of 16 points. If you're able to do mean, median, mode, the 5-number series summary along with the box and whisker, you should be able to do that. Keep in mind you're allowed to use a calculator. Another thing that I saw while grading your first test is, do you understand the difference between a histogram and a bar graph? When they give you information, and most of y'all did the graphing perfectly, but it was just, or like drawing the bars. But basically is when they give you information, let's just say age and height, and they give you a table. Please understand this is your X and this is your Y. So when you number your histogram or your bar graph, your age is going to go here and your height is going to go here. Now, they might give you from 0 to 1 year and so on. Please understand you're going to do little divisions. You're going to do a histogram. Now, look at this. And then look at this. Biggest thing, there is no for a histogram, no space. For a bar graph, you need space. What space am I talking about here? This space in between each one, that's what makes it a bar graph. No space, that's what makes it a histogram. So for right now, look at these two questions, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you. Okay, another problem, we could just say, we call this problem 3, because it is the third one I'm doing. Now, keep in mind, I'm not going to go over every single problem that's on the test. There's a lot of vocabulary. You're going to be able to use one page of notes, and if you recall, it's in your syllabus, but I'll send you that in a little bit. But basically, number 3, they tell you that a student earned an 87 on a test. They want for you to calculate what is the C score, and is it unusual or usual? So if we don't remember the formula for C score, it is this one, x minus mu over the standard. So x is your data. This is your population. Mean. This is your population standard deviation. And of course, C is the C score. So with the information they give us, all we really have to do is substitute. So I don't know my Z, that's what I'm trying to calculate, but I know my data, they got an 87. And then, and I should have told you what the standard deviation is. Give me 1 second, because it is here, standard deviation is 5. So I'm working out problems. Standard deviation is 5, and the mean was 75. Standard was 5, mean is 75. So the problems I'm working out is from your notes. So if you guys are actually reading your book the way you're supposed to, you should have seen this. So the data minus the mean that they're going to give you over the standard deviation, which is 5. So once again, I need the calculator, which is here. And I was 87 minus, let me make a fraction actually. 87 minus 75 divided by, what was it? 5. 87 divided by 5. So I get that my standard deviation is 2.4. Now, this is my standard deviation, my C score. I'm sorry. My C score is 2.4. Another thing you need to know about C score is that if it is unusual, if the C score is less than -2, or if the C score is greater than 2. It is usual if the C score is between a -2 and a 2. So when I look at this is greater than 2, so this is going to be unusual. So we calculated it because they have to give you 3 things. They gave me the data, they gave you the standard deviation, they gave you the mean, and then you plug it into this formula. Okay, number 4. Let's say that you are to draw a single card. from a deck. So let's keep in mind a deck is 52 cards. Now, what is the probability that you get a 3? Well, how many 3s are there? 4 out of how many? 52. This reduces to 1 over 13. But what if I want another probability of red? Well, how many red cards are there? 26 out of 52. That is 1/2. What if I'm looking for the probability of a card less than 6, including aces? So this would mean the probability of getting the ace, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. It's because these are my cards below 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But remember, I have 5 hearts, 5 diamonds, 5 clovers, and 5 spades. So that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 5, 5 times 4 is 20. My bad. 5, 5, 5, and 5. This reduces, and I'm going to reduce by half. Half of 20, 10, half of 52, 26. I can still reduce this. Half of 10, 5, half of 26, 13. So my answer would be 5 over 13. You have to create a password of 4 characters, but there are specific rules. The first character is a number from 0 to 9. The second character is any letter, case sensitive. The third letter is going to be any number or capital letter. And for the fourth number, it's any number and our letter. And again, be careful with the case sensitive. So now that I know that, I have 4 numbers. The first one has to be 0 through 9, so I have 10 possibilities. Then any letter case sensitive, that means 26 capitals and 26 lowercase. So that gives me 52 possibilities for that one. The third one, any number capital letter, so that means 10 numbers plus 26 of your capital letters, that means we have 36. 4 says any number plus any capital letter or any lowercase, so that right there gives me 62. I will have to multiply these numbers. So let me go here, 10 times 52 times 36 times 62. And my answer is 1,160,640. So there is 1,160,640 possibilities. Different combinations. Okay. Another question. They tell you that the population of this specific place is 350,000 people. And this was in the year 2005. There is an increase of 1.3% per year. What will the population be in 2015, and what is the exponential growth? So, a couple of things. The population is going to be 350,000, because that's how many. 1 plus my percent to the t, the amount of years. So I have 350,000. 1 plus, we need to change this percent to a decimal, so 0.013. 0.013, and it's going to be 10 years from 2005 to 2015. So this is part of my answer. It's my formula. Now you could rewrite this and it would be better if I see it like this. 350,000, 1.013. Go ahead and add it. It just makes things a lot easier. Now, if you want to know the answer, so there's my exponential growth, but if I want to know the population, then I'm going to have to use Desmos or your calculator, 350,000, parentheses 1.013 to the power of, to the power of 10. So that means there's going to be 408,678.121417. So in 10 years, the population, because we're talking about people, we're not going to round up. We should round up because it's 0.2 and we're talking about people. The answer is going to be this. So it went from 350,000 to 408,679. Okay. The next problem, and if I had to label them, it would be number 7, is we're talking about doubling. Now, the formula for doubling is P of t equals P sub 0, 2, and then to the power of t over d. Now, just to make sure we understand what all this means, P of 0 is going to be your initial population. Your t is going to be the units and time. So basically what this means is it could be months, it could be weeks, it could be days, whatever they talk about. Your d is the doubling time. So I'll tell you, this is how much time it takes for it to be doubled. So taking this into consideration, let's look at this problem. It says the doubling time for population is 8 days. So then I should already know this is 8. And there is initially 100 flights. So I know this is 100. And I know that my units, we're talking about days. So that's your units in time. So what do I have to do? Plug it into the calculator here. How many flights will be there in 17 days? So we put 100 to the power of 17 over 8. The exponent is 17 divided by 8. So let me minimize that. Let me move it over so we can see what it is. I have 100 parentheses 2x, close parentheses, the exponent of parentheses 17 divided by 8. So when I get that, I get that we're going to have 436.2, which is 436 flies after 17 days. Okay. Now, these are vocabulary that I would recommend for you to become familiar with, so you could be able to match. This is vocabulary to match. Now keep in mind, you also have 10 questions of true and false. 10 questions of true or false. All right, the next one is going to be number 8. They're going to give you a growth model. And they're going to give you something like this. P of t equals 12,000 over 1 plus 11e to the negative 0.2 t. And they're going to ask you a couple of questions. First question is, do you know what is the carry capacity? The carry capacity is always going to be whatever number is on top. That's what it is. Now, part B is going to ask you to find the initial. In order to find that, I have to find the initial at 0 time. So I would have to calculate this and put it into the calculator in order for me to be able to figure out what it is. So for t, we're going to put 0. Now I'm going to minimize this, come over here, we have a fraction, 12,000 on top, and the bottom it is 1 plus 11. The e function is here. I need parentheses, negative 0.2 times 0, close parentheses, and it says it's 1,000. So my initial population is 1,000, and the capacity is 12. Now the last part of this question is what will the population be in 20 years? So what is it going to be in 20 years? In order to figure that out, I'm going to do P of 20, which is 12,000 over 1 plus 11e, negative 0.2 times 20. So instead of having a 0 here, I need to have a 20. And it says it's 9,987.75. If we had to round, 9,988. So this is a review. Once again, it's just to help you, but there are still questions of a couple of extra questions, true and false, that you're going to have. Now, something to keep in mind, you may use a calculator and a 1 page of notes during the exam. You must show all the appropriate work in order to receive full credit. This page, along with all your work, needs to be scanned and sent to me. Okay? So I need for you to know that you could do this.